This is one of those videos that I honestly did not want to make. Did not want to make because, first of all, it's not going to be popular. Second, there's going to be a lot of opinions up there. And third, well, it's an admission that we all have a part to play. And there is something to consider when it comes to the silent threat that and how the modern society is killing us all. It is very, very easy to pull into McDonald's and order a value meal. It is very easy to open the bag of Cheetos and eating it. They taste delicious. It is very easy to, open a can of corn and put in a little bit of butter and eating it. Very easy. Unfortunately, all of those foods are slowly killing us all. And it's very unfortunate because even you think that the last one that I mentioned, a can of corn, is harmless. I mean, it's just corn. Well, corn is one of those plants that actually absorbs a lot of heavy metals in radioactive materials, believe it or not. Same thing with sunflowers. A lot of people don't understand this, but you have to understand that sunflowers absorb heavy metals like lead, uranium, all of those things that, in fact, they are widely used in areas that are affected by industrial waste. And I have seen this before. People put sunflowers all over their garden because they look pretty, and they're saying, well, the soil may be having a little contamination here and that, and I'm just gonna plant it so I can absorb everything, and yet they eat the seeds. Where do you think all of those contaminants are at? In the seeds. So you're now putting all of that in your body. One of the things that I have issues with is from the 1920s, and throughout this video I'm going to leave a whole bunch of footnotes in here so you guys can read it. But from the 1920s to today, diabetes has increased to a point that, well, is significant, to say the least. Significant, and not in a good way. In the 1920s, it was 0.2%, if my memory serves me right. Today, it's 11.6%. That is a significant number. People may disagree with me, may say, well, that's because we have a higher population. Well, factors for a increase in diabetes include the high consumption of processed food, the sedentary lifestyle. People don't go outside and do anything anymore. Age does have a role to play, but significantly is processed food in your lifestyle. People don't sweat anymore. That also has play into the obesity. How many people now can say, oh, I'm not obese or I'm not fat? Obesity has become an issue. Now, again, from 1920 to, let's say, 2021, diabetes in the U.S. has increased an estimate of from 0.2% to 11.6%. This is a 58-fold increase over the last century. In the past 50 years, diabetes in the U.S. has risen from 3% in the 1970s to 11.6% up to 2021. This is nearly four-fold increase. And the primary reason is diet. plain and simple. Processed food, sugary beverages, high calories, low nutrients meals. I want you to consider that any fat that is not natural is not good for you. Beef fat, aka tallow. I was normal eating pork fat. That contains significant amounts of vitamin D. Butter from grass-fed cows. People tell you that all of those things are bad. If they're so bad, how come a century ago people didn't have any issues, and now people have so many issues? People are allergic to so many things nowadays that in a restaurant, a lot of people can have an egg, seashell, and so on and so forth. And just to give you an example, at the end of the day, you have to understand that all of those processed food are not doing you any good. Before I came to do this video, Mrs. D gave me two biscuits so I can have something to eat, because I often don't eat until dinner time. And this is not store-bought. This is homemade with raw milk, butter that we made at home from flour and whatnot. It was not in the box, biscuits in the box. And I want you to start seeing what you have in your preps, because as I mentioned before, I have seen people put away a lot of corn, regular cans of corn, and they don't know where that came from. They don't know whether or not that corn came from a contaminated field. They don't know whether or not those sunflower seeds are contaminated with heavy metals. All of that is coming into your body. I know. I sound like one of those nutritionist people, and this will be the one and only video that I make about this. This is not something that I want to harp on. You do what you want, and if you want to kill yourself, that is completely up to you. That is not my problem. I know what I'm doing. The other thing that you really should start looking into is how many things you put in your body. Really, how many things you put in your body. That's actually has an impact as well. Again, you have to do your own research. Again, these are decisions that you have to start making on your own. When you don't control what it comes into your mouth, okay, your food, and you give that power to somebody else, you are now letting those people make decisions on your behalf. If I'm telling you that corn is not good for you, at least the corn that you don't know where it comes from, where do you think corn syrup comes from? And if you putting that into your body, heavy metals and all of that nonsense, do you think your body is not going to react? How many people have constant diarrhea nowadays? How many people have gut issues as the good bacteria is not there anymore because they have destroyed everything? How many people have to have yogurts with probiotics in it so they can take a shit? These are the things that you don't hear or you didn't hear back in the day. In fact, and I can say this for certain, because Cuba is stuck in time. In Cuba, everything pretty much is natural. Natural. Granted, that's because there is nothing coming in. There is an embargo. There is no fertilizers coming in. There is no pesticides coming in. There is nothing. So people live on natural fats. They slaughter a pig, they render the fat, and that's how they fry fish. That's how they fry their potatoes. That lard is put in their rice. There is very little obesity in Cuba because everything is natural. There is nothing natural about drinking milk that has been... When is the last time that you bought milk at the store and you can make butter with that milk? That ultra pasteurized. What are you drinking? Why do they adding so many vitamins to that milk? They already have it. When you hear, and this should be something that you should be concerned, when you hear, especially in the prepper community, these are fortified food with vitamins, of all the vitamins that you need, that should put you on hold and be like, what the fuck you adding so much vitamins to that? Food should have the vitamins already natural in there. If you're adding so much vitamins, you telling me this is good for me? Keep that in mind. I'm telling you things so you can make your own decisions. Because a lot of people will say, well, this is what you're supposed to do, and this is what you're supposed to have, and those same things will harm you in the long run. Will harm you. Plain and simple. Of course, everybody have to make their own decisions. Getting away from processed food nowadays is extremely hard. What I would recommend everybody to do is try to cook from scratch as much as you can. Is it hard? Yes, it is. It takes time. Do you have time? Well, you can make time if you want to. If you want your family healthy, you definitely can make the time. Is it easier to stop at McDonald's and buy a burger and come home and just eat it and go to bed? I tell you what, the next day you're going to be extremely hungry. Wonder why. But if you have a plate of rice, beans, and let's say a couple of quail eggs, when you wake up in the morning, you ain't gonna be as hungry. You know why? Because real food, and I say this, real food will not leave you hungry. Fake food will. Plain and simple. Have you ever compare a burger that you make at home versus a burger that you eat at McDonald's? We bake our own bread in here. We literally bake bread every single day. If I make a burger right now at home with the bread that we make, which is pretty heavy, to tell you the truth, one slice will get you full. Try to do one slide from the other bread that you buy at Walmart or whatever. It's not going to fill you up at all. And you put 2 pieces of bread, the ones that we make at home, and a piece of meat. That sucker will get you full. Will get you through the entire day. That's heavy food. Go do the one from McDonald's. The McDonald's ones have lettuce, tomatoes, weird sauces, pickles, all of that nonsense. Fries, and a soda. And it will not fill you up for the rest of the day. But it will have you craving another one. So all those additives that they add to those foods, they're not good for you. And they are additives for a reason. Because they want you to come back and buy it again. Plain and simple. So as I said before, this will be my only video about this topic, and you do with it what you want. All I can tell you is, if you have any shred of preparedness, be mindful of what you put away. Corn, well, something to be concerned. Sunflower seeds, something to be concerned. Foods that they sell you with fortified vitamins in there, be concerned. I'm just gonna leave it at that. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. Like I was rock on, prep on, and I will see you in the next one. Bye bye, everybody.